when you look at the big tech rally that we've seen, there's a couple things that I would normally be concerned about. And I mentioned one, artificial intelligence driving the NASDAQ higher into those select few names. If this is going to be such a big part of our economy moving forward, there's a lot of orders and catching up to do, whether it's NVIDIA and chips and that growing much faster, cloud computing power and all that, and AI itself. There's reasons why people would want to be investing in that market sector and driving those handful of names, the Microsoft, Apple, Google, higher, which is carrying the S&P weighted index a lot higher over the equal weighted index. Now, you turn the page and you normally would say, I'm a little concerned about this, that the breadth of the market is getting narrower and narrower. But one indication that I like to use, being a former option trader myself as a market maker, is the volatility indexes. You look at the VIX or the SPICE, which tracks the SPY ETF. Those indices and volatility continue to decline. What we see, if there's going to be a bear market, if there's going to be some sort of recession and disconnect in the marketplace, we would see the markets rise and volatility start to rise, meaning hedgers out there buying options, buying put premium to protect themselves. We haven't seen that yet. And in fact, quite the opposite, volatility declining. Maybe it's a sign of complacency, but I don't think we're at the point where we've seen hedgers come in the market, institutional order flow, that would indicate, hey, it's time to hedge because we're going to get a correction. It kind of feels like this market can continue to go. And in fact, we're nearing basically a 20% level from lows of the markets last year. That would indicate a bull market that we're entering. We're very close there, 4,300 on the S&P. We get above there, there actually could be more order flow that comes in and push the markets even higher.
I'm not going to get into my vol suppression theory as it relates to how people are distributing in order to get out of their positions. I'll leave that for another time when we have a lot longer to discuss that. But let's move on to Apple, because it's obviously the topic du jour, and it sort of plays to what you were talking about when it comes to buying into these tech stocks, I suppose, on the hopes of a brighter future. You had a funny comment about the autocorrect feature. Hopefully that will be better when it comes to machine learning in terms of, perhaps the word duck. But realistically, when you look at this product slate, what stuck out to you? Was it the VR headset and the potential there, or was it something like, that sort of went under the radar, like the Mac Pro? When you're talking about an enterprise solution, it's far cheaper than the other solutions that are on the market.
I think the VR headset is actually an interesting one, because maybe this could be at a cusp where Apple starts, they've been such an innovator over the last couple decades that maybe they begin to innovate the VR headset and make that even better than what Meta tried to do. Now, if they fail, we saw how much that hurt Meta stock and investors in Meta, Facebook. They didn't like that at all. So I'm kind of concerned why Apple wanted to go that route again. But if they can make a better product, one where users actually get excited about it to use, don't feel the headaches if you've ever put one of those things on, and you get behind that, there may be legs to Apple's stock, and maybe that's one reason to be excited about. Certainly that was driving probably the stock up into this sort of news event, pushing Apple to all-time highs. I do think, given what came out, there were some other cool features and whatnot, but this is probably an opportunity where it's a kind of a sell the news type thing. We talked about this on Options Action on Friday. Now that this event is sort of kind of come and gone, it might be an opportunity actually to sell some calls against the long position. We tend to still like Apple. It's just it's trading at all-time highs. The multiples are getting a little bit lofty relative to where it's been. And now they're going to have to sort of, you talked about the MacBook and some of these order numbers there, the VR headset. This is going to have to drive increased revenue here. If it doesn't, investors a couple quarters from now might be a little upset about that.